The movie begins as a middle-aged man named Hunter Patch Adams sits in a bus while being deep in his thoughts. At some point in his life, Patch found himself to be small, useless, and tired of this journey called life. He developed suicidal thoughts and eventually admitted himself to the psychiatric ward of the Fairfax Hospital. Immediately upon arrival, Patch meets a variety of patients. There is an old man who keeps holding up his hand and asks people how many fingers they see. He gets incredibly upset when people give the right number, as if he was expecting a completely different answer. Then there is Patch's roommate Rudy, who keeps getting scared of imaginary squirrels. Hey, they're terrifying. On the other hand, the hospital's way of treatment also seems to be more focused on medication than getting to the root of the problem. This is evident when Patch tells the institution's psychologist about his childhood trauma caused by his father's death. He opens up emotionally, but the latter seems to focus on writing down notes more so than actually listening to the patient. Slowly, Patch starts to realize that here, he will not get the help he needs. He thus decides to take things into his own hands. He begins cracking jokes with other patients, even if it means making fun of their mental condition. Patch also goes to the old man who regularly asks other patients how many fingers they see. Turns out the old man is Arthur Mendelsohn, a brilliant inventor who also admitted himself to this institution a few years ago. Patch has a conversation with Arthur, and the latter teaches them to see beyond the conventional way of looking at a problem. That very night, Patch returns to his room, only to find Rudy having yet another delusional episode. He desperately wants to go to the bathroom, but thinks that there are hundreds of squirrels out to get him. Patch, inspired by his earlier conversation with Arthur, comes up with a brilliant plan to help his roommate. He pretends they are in a battlefield, fighting against an army of squirrels. Their mission is to reach the bathroom where these imaginary enemies can't follow. After playing this game for a while, he successfully takes Rudy to the bathroom. A few days later, Patch finally decides that he has had enough of this mental institution. For several years, he wandered from one job to the other, feeling like he never belonged anywhere. But now, he is clear about what he wants to do: help patients who are suffering from all kinds of problems. 2 years later, Patch joins Virginia Medical University and becomes the oldest first-year student there. He shares his hostel dorm room with Mitch Roman, a brilliant prodigy who is single-mindedly obsessed with becoming a great doctor. It is obvious from their first meeting that Mitch greatly disapproves of Patch's apparent lack of seriousness. On the first day of classes, the university's principal, Dr. Walcott, greets the students with a ferocious speech. He points out that doctors are humans who have emotions like fear and fatigue. These emotions can cause them to make wrong decisions at crucial moments. Thus, Dr. Walcott promises to train the humanity out of each student so that they can become the perfect doctors. Everyone in the class seems to be impressed by this speech, except for Patch. He is busy looking at his classmate, a beautiful girl named Karen. During